been with the company the month of its sweet beginnings. He is a successful entrepreneur who truly understands the value of profits and passive income. He is one of the most dedicated and loyal people I have ever met, married for over 2 decades, and between his military service and continued service in the government as a night flight Black Hawk helicopter instructor pilot, he's been serving for over 40 years. He is proof that you can work this business part-time and have full-time earning potential. He, to me, continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. With that said, please help me welcome Silver Associates, Mr. Chris Latin Sr. Chris, are you there?
Hey, superstar Sally Mary, thank you so much for the introduction. Appreciate all you do, and thank you for your service. Folks, let's get started. We're going to talk about gold and silver. But a lot of times people check out when they hear the term gold and silver. Don't be that person, because I'm going to share the secret with you. You see this thing right here? Piece of gold. This is a 1-ounce gold coin. In the early 1900s, it had a value of about $20. And at that time, you could have purchased a custom-made suit or a high-end firearm, which was a Colt Peacemaker back then. It was about $17. Well, there's no way you're buying a custom-made suit for $20 today. It's just not possible. There's no way you're getting a decent pistol for $20. It is not possible. But this coin has a value of about $2,300 right now. So what that really means is you can still buy a decent pistol. You can still buy a custom-made suit. So the secret is gold and silver keeps up with inflation. So hopefully I've captured your attention. And I have to tell you, when I first started out in the military, I learned to jump out of airplanes, and my parachute was super valuable when it was open. And I kind of liken that to the mind. If our minds are open to new ideas, new information, we can definitely learn some stuff. And so hopefully you have an open mind and have captured your attention with the gold. We're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see a wealth strategies intro slide. So hopefully you can see my slide right now. You can hear me. You're only seeing one slide. And if that's the case, drop a 1 in the chat for me. Let me know you can see me, hear me, and you can see one slide right now. Awesome. Thanks. Cool, Joe. Appreciate that. So the information comes from our Wealth Strategies booklet. It's just a small pamphlet that we use to share with people to kind of reinforce what we're going to go over now. We always encourage people to share the information and then reinforce it with something like this, a little booklet. Now, we start off with a question: are you working harder just to get by? Well, think about this. I think most Americans are in this category. What we're looking at, over half the Americans can't cover cost of a $400 emergency. And I know that's around the world if you think about that. When I was first introduced to our company that we're going to talk about, not only was I flying helicopters at night training students, but I had 2 traditional businesses. And I did that because I was working harder just to make ends meet, really just to get by. I had a lawn care business I ran for 7 years, a detailing business I ran for 2 years, and I was crazy busy because I had the 2 businesses during the day, come home, take a shower, go fly helicopters and train students at night. And so I think most of us fall into this category. Are we working harder? And so really we ask the question, why? Why is this happening? Look at the dollar, the decline of the dollar over a 100-year span. So we're talking 1913 till just a couple of years ago. It's gone down. The buying power has gone down over 97%. And really what that means is we can't buy the same stuff we bought for $100. We can't buy that today for the stuff we could buy a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And think about that. When I was a kid, we had 5 and dime stores. Now we got dollar and a quarter stores. And I don't think you can buy anything for $1 in a dollar store. Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. And what that really means is, we have nothing backing the US dollar. It's a fiat currency, and historically, fiat currencies have always failed. And so, we're not here to spread any chaos or scare, but the writing's on the wall. The dollar is on the decline. It has continued to be on the decline, and it's probably going to go away at some time. I mean, look at the inflation that's happened over this 23-year span. Look at the cost of groceries. It's up 343%. I got to ask you a question. Did you get a 343% pay raise over the last 23 years? I know I didn't, and I feel like I've got a decent job.
Chris, unmute.
Was I muted? Hello?
Just briefly.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Tony. I don't know what happened. I'm not even touching anything. We got a hacker in here. Who knows? But look at groceries up 343%. And we're talking a 23-year span here. I didn't get a pay raise like that. I imagine you didn't either. I mean, look at the cost of insurance, car insurance. It's up 56%. Folks, this is why it's so hard to keep up with inflation, because our wages don't go up like inflation goes up. Anybody know the number of what inflation is up over the last year? Drop a number in the chat. Whatever you think the inflation is up over the last year. You know, I was listening to talk radio. I was coming home the other day, and in the current administration said that the inflation rate is down 3%. But what they don't tell you is that it's up 12%. It's up 12%. It's gone down 3%. So think about that. Even if it's at 9, 10%, I'm telling you, that's just way too much because our wages don't keep up with that. And again, we're working off of fiat currency right now, and fiat currencies in the past have always failed. And so here's where we want to make a case for sound money. Sound money is a fancy term for gold and silver. It's the stuff that keeps up with inflation. Here's a couple of examples. Picture this. I'm holding up a 1-ounce silver coin and a $1 bill. In 1965, these two items, these two things were equal in value. You could exchange one for the other. You could go into a bank and exchange one for the other. You go to a bank right now and say, I want silver for this, they're going to laugh at you. They're not, most of them not even going to know what it is. Or if you take this into a bank and say, I want my money for this, they're not going to do it. But in the past, you could do that. So $2,500 or 2,500 ounces of silver in 1965, you could have purchased a new Mustang. Well, folks, is it possible to get a new Mustang for $2,500 today? It's not. It's not. That might be a down payment. Think about that. But the same silver, and this is a silver dollar. So this is an American eagle. It's got a walking liberty on one side, an eagle on the other. And this has a value of over $35, about $40 if you think about that. And so the reality is raw material silver has a value of about $26.80. This one is around $35 to $40. So you could buy two Mustangs with the same amount of silver. Base price on a Mustang is around $30,000. And so think about that. Silver keeps up with inflation, just like I shared with you with the gold at the beginning. So on the right side of the screen, you can see that in 2000, we're talking the average cost of a home, $169,000. That's equivalent to 626 ounces of gold. And so for the same amount of gold today, you could purchase 3 homes, and the value of all 3 homes combined is over $1 million. Think about that. Gold and silver keep up with inflation. So now that we know that, you know, when I learned this stuff, I knew that gold and silver had value, but I really didn't understand why it was so valuable. And I had questions, and I imagine you do too. Like, what should I buy? Who should I trust? How much does it take to get started? And do I need to be an expert to win? You know, the who should I trust is a big one. And I imagine that you were invited by someone that you know, like, and trust to hear this information, whether it's live or whether it's in a recording. And the thing is, that's what we tend to do. We tend to do business with people that we know and trust. And a friend of mine called me to share this information with me that I know and trust. And I've been doing the same thing. I've been sharing it with people that know and trust me as well. And the thing is, we don't have to be an expert to win, because we actually have a team that actually looks for the very best coins for the product that has the most potential to go up in value. Now, there's a lot of questions that are answered, like, you know, there's mixed advice out there, high minimums, tough learning curve. Well, we think things should be a whole lot easier. We really believe that everyone should own precious metals. You know, not in school. You know, everybody pretty much goes to school or high school. I joined the military right after high school. I didn't want to torture myself with college, but I actually went to college later in life. And so where I'm going with that is not once in school, not once in college, and not once in 40 years of being in the military did anyone teach the importance of owning precious metals. And so we actually believe that everyone should understand precious metals and be able to have access to it. And so here's where we introduce our company. We are 7K. 7K is a member direct marketing company, a network marketing company. Now, don't let that scare you away. There's a lot of good products out there, a lot of good compensation plans, a lot of good companies. And the thing is, some people have a bad opinion of it. But here's the thing. It started with these 4 gentlemen, and these 4 guys did not come together because they need your money or want my money. They did not come together for that reason. They actually wanted to give back to the community where they made their money, which is networking. Networking makes more millionaires than any other industry, but they also know that a lot of people have a bad opinion about networking, and some have a really good opinion about networking. Well, they wanted to change networking in 2 ways. One, provide a product that was truly valuable. And so what we're talking about is silver and gold. So this 100-ounce silver bar, we're talking physical gold and silver. And then they also wanted to make it so the average person could make an above average income. And here's what I mean by average person. We saw that statistic early on, that we're working harder and less, or over half the population can't cover the cost of a $400 emergency. Well, they wanted to make it so the average person, the person that's working 40 hours a week, or the person that is struggling to make ends meet, or the single parent out there, or the person that's trying that extra business to make an additional stream of income, they're doing that to help the average person get by and be able to make an additional stream of income. And so how did they do it? We did it through a membership model. A membership model such as Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon Prime. How many of you got a membership out there? If you got a membership to something, drop a 2 in the chat. If you have a membership to anything. All right, so there's memberships for everything out there. There's golf memberships, gym memberships, Sky Miles memberships. And the thing is, with a membership, you receive some sort of goods or services at a discounted price. Well, here we have access to gold and silver. We're talking physical gold and silver, bars and rounds. We only sell inventory that we have. Any of you ever seen the commercials on TV to buy gold and silver? I mean, you hear it, you see it all the time. I'm listening to talk radio when I'm coming home. There's usually at least 1 to 2 gold commercials in the 20 minutes it takes me to drive home. Well, the thing is, we only sell inventory that we have. There's no minimums. And those commercials on TV that you hear or see, that, I've called one of those or a couple of them, and they want like $5,000 to $10,000 up front just to get started. Well, if you don't have $5,000 to $10,000, that's okay, because you can do $500, $100, $5, $1, whatever you want right here at 7K. We also have fractional gold and silver. So this 1-ounce gold coin that I have, it's around $2,300 right now. And so if you don't have $2,300 to buy a gold coin, you can buy fractional gold and silver. And fractional gold and silver is a really pretty cool thing. So, you put $200 towards it this month, $200 next month, $100 the month after that. And so you can buy a little bit. And so every time you purchase, it is backed up by a physical gold and silver in our private vault. And so not only do we have physical gold and silver that comes to us, but we have gold and silver that can be kept in a private vault. We have a fast and easy liquidation as well. So if I want to sell this 10-ounce silver bar that I'm holding up right now, 7K has the best buyback in the industry. And so this is where I'm doing my business. Now, again, gold and silver bullion, we got bars and rounds, we got fractional gold and silver through the Sound Money wallet. Now, this is the defense. This is what keeps up with inflation. And we also think it's important that we have an offense. So let's talk about collectibles, though, to get started. So we're talking collectibles. And the reason we're talking collectibles is because these are the things that have the most potential to go up in value. Gold and silver bullion keeps up with inflation, and gold and silver collectibles is the offense. But let's describe what an offensive strategy looks like. So take this Spider-Man magazine from 1962. It was originally 12 cents. It sold for over $3 million. And how about the Mickey Mantle baseball card? This thing probably came in a pack of bubble gum for maybe a nickel, and it sold for over 12 million. And the thing is, the reason these things go up in value is because they are low mintage, meaning rare. They have an incredible design, a great story, historical significance. This is kind of the formula for the offense. Now, most of us don't have $3 million laying around to buy a comic book. But if you're the type of person that has $90, then we have something for you. And again, what a collectible looks like in our industry, gold and silver, is low mintage, incredible design, great story, historical significance. And so again, going back to that $90, well, in 2004, for $90, you could have purchased a Tiffany art coin. And again, this is a beautiful silver coin, decorative artwork, but it now sells for over $10,000. So we'll look at the time span that we're talking about here. How about the Julius Caesar coin? I think I got one of these right here. Yeah, I purchased this for $349. It now sells for over $1,000. And this is only a couple years old. And then the Montana butterfly, I've got one of these right here as well. Originally $139, sells for over $1,500 now. And so this is what we're talking about. This is what we have access to. This is the offense. And we make it easy to get some of these coins, these offensive coins, sort of not offensive, but offense coins, get them on a regular basis. So we have access to the monthly autosaver program where you can get beautiful artwork that's on pure gold. This is pure gold, but again, it meets the formula. We're talking low mintage, incredible design, great story, historical significance. We also have access to the state animal series, like we had just mentioned. We have the American Silver Eagle. And again, these are all in perfect mint condition, MS70 or proof 70. And that's the highest rating a coin can receive. And then we also have these half-gram gold. This is our autosaver program. This is an optional program, but I highly recommend it because you can put your savings on autopilot. And think about that. You know, when I first started flying helicopters 33 years ago, we did not have autopilot. And so not only are we flying, but we're navigating, we're talking on 4 different radios at any given time, and it's focusing on the battlefield, training, or whatever the case might be. Well, with autopilot, we have autopilot now, and it makes it so that I can do those things in an easier way. And it's the same thing with your savings. If you put your savings on autopilot, set it, forget it, you can focus on other things. Now, we also have access to 7K Select and rare coin drops. These are things that again, you don't have to be the expert to win. We've got a team of experts that are looking for the very best coins, the ones that have the most potential to go up in value. And we don't know what the value is going to be in the future of these coins, but what we do know is historically, they've always gone up in value. So a couple of things that I've received on a coin drop. I mean, check this out. We're looking at part of the Pearl Harbor commemoration. This is the USS Arizona. Beautiful coin, 5-ounce coin. About the Abraham Lincoln is part of our real hero or American heroes. Just beautiful things that we can receive on these coin drops and 7K Select. Now, a lot of times people say to me, all right, I get it. It's important to own precious metals. What should I buy? Well, I'm not your financial advisor or planner. And now I can tell you what I buy, but that's all based off of my goals. And so what I encourage you to do is go to our 7K buyer certification and collector's training and become educated on the importance of owning precious metals. The buyer certification will teach you the 5 top reasons why people buy gold and silver. It'll teach you about the economy and how precious metals interact with that. And then it'll also teach you what metals to buy based off your own goals. And then the collector's training, it teaches us the difference between proof 70s, MS70s, gem uncirculated coins. Folks, this comes free with your membership. Some people say they would pay $500 just for the buyer certification. Some people say they would pay $500 just for the collector's training alone, but it's free with your membership. Now, our friend Curtis Harlan said he really enjoys his collection. He's got all 50 of the 50 state animal series, and it's really cool to be able to collect things in a series. You know, I have the gold notes in a series. I have the animal series, state animal series. I also have the Silver Eagle state label. I have all 50 of those as well. And the thing is, when you complete that collection, it's awesome. And so it's just one of the really cool things that we're able to do here. Now, here's a picture of my collection about 3 years ago. And why I share this with you is, one, I didn't buy this all at one time. I started off with the American Silver Eagle because that's what I could afford. Now I buy all 4 of the autosavers every month. I do it for 2 reasons. 1, I really like them. And 2, historically, these MS70s, proof 70s, these notes that are 70s, historically, they've always gone up in value. So you can see on the right side of the screen, I have gold and silver bullion. That's the defense. And then on the left side of the screen, I have gold and silver collectibles. That's the offense. And down the middle, it's kind of a mix. And so again, this is about 3 years ago. And what I did is I realized that it's important to own precious metals, and I started doing a collection. And then I also started sharing it with people, sharing it just like you would share, like if you had a good meal at a restaurant, you'd tell somebody about it, they go and have a good meal as well. The restaurant doesn't pay you. But here at 7K, if you refer people, if you actually share this with people and say, hey, I'm part of the exclusive buying club, do you want to check it out? And they come and they become a part of the exclusive buying club, you can earn points and actually get paid. And so I started earning points and I got paid 2 weeks later, the very first time I earned a commission. And I took 2/3 of what I earned and I put it into more precious metals. And then I took 1/3 and just used it for whatever I wanted. And the thing is, I've been doing that formula for the last 6.5 years. And so now I have an incredible collection. If the economy tanks, if the dollar goes away, I don't worry about it, because gold and silver has always been as a means of trade. It's always been used as a means of trade, like around 5,000 years we're talking. And so whatever the currency is, we're talking the dollar bill is currency, whatever the currency is, gold and silver will be able to purchase. And whether that's a digital currency, whatever the case might be, gold and silver is going to be able to buy whatever the currency is. So I've got peace of mind. Now, we have shared 2 things: gold and silver bullion, the defense, gold and silver collectibles, the offense. But there is so much more of being a part of 7K. There are multiple benefits for being a part of 7K. We're not going to get into all those, but I will tell you, you're probably wondering how much a membership costs. We have 2 options, just like a Sam's Club, Business, or just like Amazon Prime. We've got 2 options. I think people just like a choice. And so we've got a premium membership for $4.99. We got a standard membership for $1.99. They are both very beneficial. You're going to get a lot more bells and whistles, so to speak, with the premium membership. It's more geared towards a person that wants to either have part-time, full-time, or life-changing income. And so if you're interested in part-time, full-time, or life-changing income, then the $4.99 is the way to go. But if you can only afford the $1.99, that's okay too. Some of the business benefits go away after about 3 months. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about the business portion of this. I just want to share my experience. When I first started in 7K, I'd mentioned that I earned my first commission in 2 weeks, but I actually learned something in week number 1. My son, Chris, he's 38 years old. He earned his first commission in 1 week. He joined 7K after I did. So I learned 2 things in the first 2 weeks. The system works to make money. And it's not just the people at the top making all the money. And that was significant for me. We always want to help our kids. And I've also heard in networking that it's usually the people at the top making all the money. And so when I learned those 2 things, man, I just went to work. I just started sharing this. And you remember, I was crazy busy. I had 2 businesses and flying helicopters at night. But I made time. I made time for 7K and I fit it in. And just like anything that's important to you, you make time for. And so I made time, I shared 7K, and folks, in 6 months, I had a real residual income. I was able to sell my lawn care business, my detailing business, and it freed up a lot of time for me. And so my time is what's most valuable. I think yours is too. And the thing is, that was significant, a big blessing in our lives. Now, I'm going to share one more thing about the money-making part. So I did 25 years active duty. I still worked for the government because there's no way that you can retire on a military retirement. It's just not possible. But after 25 years, I now have an annual pension. And so I make a certain amount of money every year because of that annual pension. That's residual income. Well, I worked my 7K business, and in my 2nd year of operation here, I earned the same amount of money that I make in my annual pension. Think about that. Work 25 years, residual income, or work your business 1 to 2 years, residual income. And some people do it a whole lot faster than I do. I'm talking, I've come from the, my area of expertise is aviation, not networking. And so I've learned how to do 7K, and I've learned gold and silver. And again, we've got people that do it a whole lot faster than I do, and some that do it slower. And the thing is, the difference, my residual income with the government goes up maybe a fraction each year because they say it's the cost of living, but it never keeps up. But my residual income here at 7K continues to go up because I continue to share it, because I know I have something that's valuable. I got precious metals. I have gold and silver bullion, gold and silver collectibles, and additional benefits that we have here. So folks, I've shared my experience with you. I've shared some of the benefits that we have of being a part of 7K. Now I want you to hear from a person that's been in the industry over 19 years. He's got experience in the industry, both in and out of network marketing. He's been a six-figure earner, both in and out of network marketing. I was looking for a mentor when I first got started. And the reason I was doing that is because I wanted to learn how to do this business. And so I found Mr. Tony Hubbard. He's out of Houston, Texas. He's an incredible leader, teacher, mentor, and one of my very best friends, Executive Gold Associate. Tony Hubbard, take it away, sir. Show these folks how we make some money.
All right, as always, Chris. It's such a pleasure, man, to get on chance to be on a platform with such an incredible leader like yourself. It's been an amazing journey over the last 6.5 years to see you come on board with very little experience in the space, and to be able to earn full-time income on a part-time basis, and to be able to amount to an incredible stack of a small fortune in gold and silver. And I have no doubt, because you are that team player, that over the next few years, when they read off the list of individuals in this company that are earning that significant life-changing income, I have no doubt your name will be on that list, my brother. So definitely hats off to you. And I look forward to your future success. And ladies and gentlemen, Chris did an excellent job, as always, sharing with you guys some of the many reasons why people love what it is we do. And at the end of the day, it really boils down to two different options. Number one, most of the people that join our company, they're the ones that are already buying gold and silver or been thinking about it. And they love the fact that this simple membership allows them to get it at one of the best prices with no minimum or maximum purchase. And then you have those savvy entrepreneurs like Mr. Chris Ladden and like thousands of our associates. And not only are they stacking gold and silver, they're building a team, they're building a network. And it allows them to earn commissions as well as a passive residual income. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you guys how this compensation plan has allowed tens of thousands of individuals to not only earn financial relief, but also financial freedom. But I think it's fair that before you get information concerning a business, to know a little background of the person who's sharing. You see, I was very fortunate to be asked to be one of the founding members of this company 6.5 years ago. But it was a very critical point in my life. I needed something that would work for me. So do me a favor today, put a 2 in the chat if you've ever been at a point in your life that you needed something that would work for you. And I took a look at this business model that we're talking about here today, and I got involved. The very same night I took a look at it, not because I understood everything, but because what they shared with me just made a whole bunch of sense. So I got involved because I understood two concepts. Number one, it made sense to me to purchase gold and silver at the best price. That made absolute sense to me. But it also made sense that if someone's going to get paid whenever somebody else bought gold and silver, that somebody probably need to be named me. And that's all I really grasped 6.5 years ago. I went on to introduce now over 400 people to this concept. And I have a team now that is tens of thousands of individuals around the world. Now, I don't share that today to impress you, but to impress upon you that if someone like myself that does not have a college degree can do this business and earn several thousand on a weekly basis, every last one of you guys here today will have that exact same opportunity. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, let me share with you guys about a compensation plan that has changed tens of thousands of lives for the better. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's just dive right into it. Now, it's a very simple concept, and that's one of the things I love about this company. How you get paid, you share the opportunity. You will earn points for sharing, and those points will allow you to get paid. Now, the compensation plan we're blessed to get paid out of is known in the industry as a dual team system, which means at the end of the day, everybody you bring on board will be placed on one of two teams. Why is that important? Well, if you study the industry of home-based business and network marketing over the last 80 plus years, history has revealed to us, I don't care what the name of the company, what product you market or the service, the average person in their lifetime within that company will only sponsor 2.3 individuals. That's why the dual team system is so popular, because all a person has to do to start earning income is to find two people that this makes sense with. You're now in a position to start getting paid. Now, Here's how it works. Now, they don't pay your commission when they sign people up. They give you points for that. And those points can turn into your monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly commission. And so once you bring on your first two and start accumulating those points, any combination of 500 points on team one, that can be your efforts or the team efforts, and 500 on team two, you've just earned a $500 commission. And ladies and gentlemen, that's unheard of in this space. You see, in my 19 years of network marketing, I've been a part of other dual team systems. And for the same amount of work, there are companies that will insult you and just pay you $10, $25, maybe $50. But in this equation, it's a $500 commission. So do me a favor. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right audience. If you bring on two people this week and you help them bring on a few people and they buy a couple of coins, and the following Saturday, there's a $500 commission in your mailbox, put a 2 in the chat if in your mind, that's a real check. And you know what? It gets better from there. What if I continue to share? I will earn even more points. And you know what? It allows me to get paid even more. And the second equation, because you reached another rank in the compensation plan, and we get paid on a weekly basis at the end of the week, Saturday midnight, based upon the rank you've achieved and the points of your lesser team. And the second equation, you've earned a $1,000 commission. So let me do my best to simplify this to show you how do you get the points that will turn into your monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly commission. Well, there are 5 different ways you can get points that will turn into your commission. I'm sorry about that. The first of which is retail sales. I mean, once you get your own membership, whether it's $199 or $499, if someone wants to test the waters, you can send your individual link to them. They can buy everything you buy with a slight retail markup. And when they check out, whatever the difference is, the company will split it with you. And if they buy anything on your site that has points, those points go toward your commission. Also, you heard Chris talked about our monthly autosaver, where you get a chance to pick and choose which coins you want every single month. And every last one of those coins come with points. In addition to that, several times a month, and it happened on last Thursday, the company will give you access to very rare coin sales. That means sometimes there's only a few thousand of them in the world exist. And if you're fast enough, you'll get a chance to get one. And sometimes there's only a few hundred of them exist. And if you're really fast, you'll get a chance to get one of those. They come with points. Also, part of your membership, everybody gets their own website in your back office. Imagine a Sam's Club or Costco membership. But when you go to your website, all you see is silver and gold coins, bars, as well as jewelry. And any retail product on that site, if you purchase it, it will give you points. And last but not least, the memberships for $199 or $499, they come with 50 and 150 points. Also, if the people that you bring on board renew the following year, and I've seen as much as 70% renewal in a year, when they renew the next year, you'll get that 50 to 150 points again. So what is my income potential if I decide to build this thing? I'm glad you asked. You have the potential, if you come on board, to earn anywhere from $500 up to $12,500, not a month, not bi-weekly, but every single week. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That can not only provide financial relief for 1,000 people. I mean, when you're talking about 10,000 and 12,500 a week, now you're talking about financial freedom. And there are hundreds of individuals that are enjoying that as we speak. So how do I really get it? Can you break it down? Can you make it even simple? Can you reduce it to the ridiculous? Here's the thing I love about it. Keep in mind, this company was designed to help everyday people have success. Whether you've been a part of this industry for many years like myself, or this is your first rodeo, it is designed to help the average person have success. So they simplified the process. See, I've been a part of companies that, unless you had a PhD in physics, you probably didn't understand the compensation plan. Unless you had a master in mathematics, you're probably going to have a hard time grasping all the numbers. But this thing is so simple. It doesn't take a 12-page PDF. It doesn't take a 5-page PDF. How about one single page and show you what your income potential is? Here's how it works. You bring on your first 2 people. You place one left and one right. You are an associate, and you have the ability to earn up to $500 on a weekly basis. What if a person needs to make more than that? Duplicate your success. Bring on 2 more people and help one on each side get their first 2 Now you're a copper. Our coppers are earning up to $1,000 on a weekly basis. What if you need to make more than that? You guessed it. The thing I love about this compensation plan, unlike working in corporate America, and you have to wait and pray and have somebody embarrass you at the end of a year to get a 2% or a 3% raise, you can give your own self a raise in this compensation plan by just simply going to work and talking to more people. The third rank in the compensation plan is a bronze. Our bronze are earning up to $2,000 on a weekly basis. Another thing I love about this compensation plan is that it fell in line with what I was taught by one of my first mentors, Mr. Zig Ziglar, who said you can have everything you want out of life if you simply help enough other people get what they want out of life. And the only way you will maximize this compensation plan is by helping the people on both of your teams have your same level of success, if not greater. And I love that about the company. But the position I really want you to focus on is in the center of our compensation plan, and that is a silver. Our silvers are earning up to $3,500 on a weekly basis. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't care where you live on this planet. $3,500 a week, $14,000 a month, puts you in the top 10% of income earners anywhere on the planet. And the company recognized the fact that here's where the true leaders start emerging. So much so that a few years ago, they decided to do something unheard of to incentivize you to take your business serious from day one. They say, you know, for everybody that comes on board and they reach the rank of silver in the first 90 days or less, the reward won't be a trophy. It's not a plaque. How about this 100-ounce silver bar that you see in my hand right now that's valued at about $3,000? Now, over the last 6.5 years, I'm sorry about that. Over the last 6.5 years, that's been over 500 people that have reached the rank of silver. About 200 of them did it in less than 90 days. Some less than 60. You know what? We've even helped a few get it done in less than 30 days. And because our team here at Legacy Builders has helped over 90 people get one of these 100-ounce silver bars, as my grandmother used to oftentimes say, if you can do a thing, you can teach a thing. I look forward to helping at least 50 more people get one of these 100-ounce silver bars before the year is out. So do me a favor, put a 5 in the chat if you want to be one of the next 50 people that we help get one of these 100-ounce silver bars before the year is out. All right, I see we got a few takers. All right. And I know there's a couple of you on here today that you're on pace to be one of the next 100-ounce silver bar winners. But before we wrap it up today and talk about the big money in our compensation plan, I mean, from time to time, I'd like for you to hear some testimonies of people that 7K has impacted their lives for the better. The first of which is a gentleman that I've met and known now for over 4 years here in this company. He and his wife have an incredible testimonial. He's a school teacher. He's definitely one of my best friends on the planet. Help me welcome to the call to talk about his story. And let me make him a co-host right now. Mr. David Crasper, I'd like for you to tell why you chose 7K Metals. Mr. Crasper, take it away, sir.
Hey, thanks, Tony, so much for not only instructing us and teaching us about the comp plan and sharing this, but always being a great leader. And I was just reminiscing the other day about the first time I heard this presentation and the questions I had and the things I knew. And the two things that I knew right away was that I needed to get more gold and silver. I need to have a stack like a Chris Latin Sr. or a Curtis Harlan. I needed to have that. And the second thing I knew at that moment that 7K was going to be a household name someday, and I wanted to get in sooner than later. And let's fast forward 4 years, and I have a nice stack of silver, and I've been able to leverage that gold and silver to live a lifestyle, to go around the world, to visit some beaches, and to make my lifestyle better. And it's interesting sometimes because when things get tight, the first thing we think about is selling our silver and gold. But that's not the biggest benefit I found. If I'm in a hole or I need some financial help, I just go to work and I find some people who need the same thing that I needed 4 years ago and share this with them. With a comp plan the way it is, I can get out of any hole with a little bit of work and having a mindset to help people. And so that's why I just love 7K, and I just love the leadership. So thanks for letting me share, Tony.
All right, Mr. David Crasper, man, enjoy. I mean, the last 4 years has been nothing less than remarkable, and I have no doubt you'll continue to be one of our top leaders in this company for many years to come, man. So definitely hats off to you. Look forward to seeing you on next week, man. It's going to be a party. The next gentleman I want you to hear a testimonial from has only been on board, I think, less than 2 years now, but he's been an incredible leader there in Oklahoma. Reached the rank of bronze, and I have no doubt he'll be one of the next silvers and even gold before the year is out. Help me welcome to the call to tell about why he chose 7K metals, top producing bronze, soon to be silver. Mr. Kevin Williams, take it away, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you inviting me to share a testimonial. Prior to getting started, everyone that's listening, prior to getting started at 7K, I'm a stressed out father, or I was a stressed out father, 3 girls. I've been a single father for the last 4.5 years. And as well, in addition to joining this company, when I got invited to take a look at it for the first time, I'm a logistics engineer. So I work 50 hours a week minimum while being a single father. And so I was first introduced to this and kind of skeptical because I've seen a lot of companies come and go. But I decided to grab a membership. And as Tony was saying, for the first year, over a year, actually a year and a half, all I did was stack because it made perfect sense. Never collected gold and silver in my life. Didn't know what bullion was. Never heard the term numismatic. I didn't know anything, but it just made perfect sense. And so I stuck around for like over a year. I went out to a convention last year, May of 2022, and the light bulb came on because when I saw what was going on, I saw the founders, I saw the company, I saw what we had in place. I got pretty excited. I literally got so excited. I came back, started sharing this program with other people, and hit the rank of bronze. Like Tony was saying, when I hit the rank of bronze, that was in the month of February of this year, made $8,000, broke a record in the month of February. Not only that, but now I got teams in all these different states. I got teams internationally in New Zealand, Australia, and I'm so excited because for the first time after, seeing, the big picture and the light bulb coming on, I, for the first time, not only have been able to save money, not stressed out about finances anymore, but I've been able to save and accumulate over $40,000 worth of gold and silver and assets and collectibles, and never been able to save money in my life. I was always robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. I'm no longer stressed out as a father, but it's even still, working 50 hours a week. I've done this 50 hours a week. Literally, I just got home from work because I had to work this weekend. And so I'm trying my best to get out of this job because, as Tony was saying, I'm definitely going to hit silver, definitely going to take this thing all the way to the top. And, I'm not worried about finances and bills anymore because this company has truly been a blessing to me. It's literally saved my life and turned things around. I'm so glad to be a part of it. And with that said, that's my story, sticking to it. Back to you, Tony.
All right, Kevin, man, enjoy your testimony. That's the first time I got a chance to hear your incredible story, man. And I have no doubt, man, because again, first of all, you got to be pretty smart to be an engineer. And I have no doubt you will definitely figure this thing out and be one of our top leaders for many years to come, man. So definitely hats off to you. And ladies and gentlemen, just to wrap everything up, silver is the middle of our compensation plan. But for those of you who believe in the adage that if you didn't come from a wealthy family, then it's your responsibility to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. And you want to set your sights on our last 3 positions of gold, executive, and presidential level, because at those levels, individuals are earning up to $7,000, $10,000, up to $12,500 on a weekly basis. And for those of you that are guests on here today, and you think you got invited way too late to the party, why didn't Kevin tell me about this sooner? Why didn't Greg tell me about this sooner? I want you to relax because although we're a 6.5-year-old company, and the company did over 100 million in revenue last year, along with an A+ rating, the Better Business Bureau, we've only been blessed to earn up to $50,000 a month for the last couple of years. There's only 90+ people now that have reached the rank of gold. 18 of us have become executive goals, and that's only 3 presidential goals in this entire company. So there is still plenty of room at the top. And I look forward to seeing those numbers double, triple, and even quadruple, because when you look at everything 7K Metals has to offer, we are by far the best kept secret in all of the network marketing space. So to wrap it up here today, here's what I want you to understand. Right now, the ball is in your court. And you got to make that decision, because every time we share without fail, Individuals always fall into one of three categories. Just think about it. For $199 a year, you have your own miniature franchise. You have tax benefits because it's a home-based business. You have the ability to be like a Curtis Harlan and start stacking gold and silver. So imagine what your stack will look like a year from now, 2 years from now, and to be able to earn part-time and full-time income. Imagine for $499 a year, you have that business in a box. And you have some serious potential to have a stack like Kevin Williams, over 40,000 in 1 year, and to be able to earn up to as much as 50,000 a month. Well, right now, all you got to do is just make that choice. And every time I share this information, without fail, as far as coming on board and making that intelligent choice, individuals always fall into one of three categories. And yes, ma'am, yes, sir, you're on here today. Person number one, say, you know what? I like what I hear. Really not into the networking thing y'all been talking about, but I have been looking for a place to just buy the gold and silver. So if I'm going to get it, might as well get it at the best price. I say, great. Get back with the person inviting you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number one. You have $199 and you're ready to start stacking gold and silver on your own free website starting today. Person number two, you're like thousands of our associates that say, you know what? I think it's cool to buy gold and silver. I think it's a beautiful thing to get collectible coins. But with real inflation being closer to 10%, like Chris was talking about, and I've never gotten that kind of raise on my job before, my household could use an extra $500 a week. An extra couple of thousand a month would be a mini miracle in my house. I say, great. Get back with the person inviting you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number two. You got $199, or better yet, you got $499, and you're ready to start stacking and making some money. But if you're like I was guy number three. When I found out I could make up to $50,000 a month with a product that just made sense, this became a no-brainer to me. You see, being a student of the industry, here is what I knew to be true. There are thousands of companies out there in the network marketing space. And you know what? They all make money, but they don't all necessarily make sense. And here's what I mean by that. You see, it never made sense to me to pay 5 to 10 times the price for a product or a service that I could go to Walmart, Sam's Club, same ingredients for a smaller price. That never made sense to me. But you know what has always made sense? Having 100-ounce silver bars showing up in your mailbox. What about 1-ounce collectible gold coins worth about $2,800? Or better yet, what about one of the programs that we didn't even go into details on? We have a loyalty program where they reward you for building a team. And you can use those points to go toward coins. One of my favorite is this Majestic Eagle 10-ounce coin. This is a $1,000 coin. Look at the thickness on that thing. And I was able to get this for free because I was building a business. Ladies and gentlemen, that just made sense to me. So do me a favor, put a 3 in the chat if the information you've heard so far just makes sense. All right, we're gonna stop sharing our screen and we're gonna open up the floor for Q&A. But here's the thing, I don't expect you to grasp everything I just shared today, and myself and Mr. Chris Ladd. I don't expect you to grasp everything. But here's what I know to be true. We've all made far more expensive, far more critical decisions with a lot less information. And let me just share it with you. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever worked a 9 to 5 and they put you through some type of orientation before they turn you loose. I don't care if it was McDonald's, before they put that spatula in your hand, before they taught you the art of deep frying them fries, you had to go through some type of orientation. Okay. Well, let me see how many honest people I got on here today. Put a 3 in the chat if you still didn't know everything there was to know about that job. After them first couple of hours, those first few days, in some cases, even after a few months. But here's what I know to be true about you. You at least hung around long enough to get a paycheck. And that's all we're asking you to do. We're asking you to hang around long enough. We're going to show you how to get paid. We're going to show you how we've helped thousands of people make an extra few hundred to a few thousand a month. We're going to show you how last year alone, we had a couple hundred folks on our team that were making over $10,000 a month. We're going to show you how to do that. So if that makes sense to you, we'll open up the floor. So if you got any questions right now, you're a guest on here today, raise your hand and we'll allow you to unmute. Because we believe in being very, very transparent, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. So the floor is open, ladies and gentlemen. I see we have quite a few guests on here today. Some of you never seen the name before, especially the cell phones. So if you got a question, they just raise your hand. We'll allow you to unmute before we break for a little bit and then go into the training. All right. So Chris, I guess you did it again, my friend. You did it again. All right. So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm showing 4 minutes till. So let's take an 8-minute break. So let's start back at 4 minutes after the hour. And I'm gonna have my man, Mr. Ray Patterson, start it off. He's gonna share a few things. And then once Ray is finished, I'm gonna go into some training today about the importance of the #1 skill set that makes you the most money in our profession of home-based business and network marketing. So if you wanna know the #1 skill set that you got to get good at, that's gonna make you the most money, you're gonna stick around for the training. We're gonna show you how. We've helped a few hundred people last year make a 6-figure income here at 7K Metal. So that being said, Miss Sally Mary, if you could, let's see, wait, if you could come back with some music, and then, I'm sorry about that. Yes, matter of fact, Sally Mary, why don't you come on right now and talk about our event where we're going to be at next Saturday. So I won't be on here next Saturday because myself, Mr. Scott Zuckman, we're going to be there in Seattle with the incomparable Sally Mary the Great. So Sally Mary, why don't you take it away before you start playing the music? And then at the 5 minutes after, we're going to hear from my man, Mr. Ray Patterson, before we go into the training. Sally Mary, the floor.
Thank you, Tony, for giving me the opportunity to share on the floor. Also, the DJ is DJ Super Chris Latin Sr. So, Chris, I'll need you to cue our music, please, because I am not the best DJ in the world. With that said, I'm super excited about next weekend. It's building from the momentum that started at, at the beginning of the year when we had the gold rush going into convention. And then from convention, Daryl Steele was like, we need to keep this going. We're going to have a Super Saturday in Atlanta. Then I thought, you know what? I want to rank up. I want to really share this information with people because truthfully, guys, I'm not doing this for me. I really do feel like more people should have access to tangible, hard asset and not just, especially those who can't afford a home right now, right? A girlfriend of mine who is helping with the event, she is literally incentivizing. So if you guys know folks in Seattle, send them to Seattle, let them know that they were sent by you. And if they stay for the event from starting at 1 p.m. all the way to 4, the biggest incentive that we could give them is that they get a vacation. They just have to pay their airline tickets there, right? Just like it's the same that we've been doing with 7K. So so send them to the event, and I'll post on the link. I'll post a link on what it is. So that momentum that Daryl Steele started, well, not Daryl Steele, but continued. And I just figured, you know what, more people should have access to it. I figured that I took it upon myself. It's my responsibility. And plus we have an amazing team of people, led by Tony Hubbard and plus Emily and Yuri are both having their Super Saturday right now. How exciting is that? And the thing is, I feel like it's really important for us to, not keep this to ourselves. Tony says this thing that I love saying, if I found a gold mine, and I'm going to butcher this quote, I know I am, is that this, if I knew the map to a gold mine, did you want me to keep it to myself? And I absolutely don't want to keep it to myself. I absolutely want to share it with everyone. And I hope that you guys can share the map too, because we all have the map, and why not share it? Thank you for letting me share, Tony, and I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Let's share the flyer, Sally Mary.
Oh yes, the flyer. Let me get that to you right now. I was out writing all day yesterday, and lost a lot of my strength. So this is our flyer for the weekend, and I'll take this link and post it in the chat. So Blake Davis will be there. So I know I've had a lot of people ask me questions. Hey, are we gonna have a Spanish speaker there? And I'm like, yo hablo español, pero es muy poquito. Hey, we have Blake Davis there. Did you know that he spoke fluent Spanish? In case you didn't know, now you know. He's going to be there. And then of course, Executive Gold, literally I could say this, top producing, because I was at convention and he did receive a plaque for that. And Scott Zuckman, who spoke on stage with the but with Robert Kiyosaki, right? And Ray Patterson is going to be there, maybe not physically, but he'll be there for sure. One way or another, he'll be there he'll definitely be there. And then so like right here, we also have raffles. We have raffles. So the tradition that we started, well, not we, Tony Hubbard started, and we're just keeping it rolling, is that everyone gets a free raffle door prize, and it won't be a surprise. We'll have it displayed out on what it's going to be. So again, thank you. Does anybody have any questions before I go? I would love to answer any questions, entertain any of them, because this is really important. This is how important it is, guys. Joe freaking Preston, Miss Cashing Checks, right, is coming in. Suzanne Buford from Phoenix, Arizona is coming up, and Jitka is coming up, and of course Tony Hubbard, he'll be there. So just think about that. Think about the implications of that. These people are not even within 200 miles, and they're flying to Seattle, right? And plus, you get to hang out with me. I'm one of the cool kids. At least I'd like to think so. Thanks for listening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's give it to 10 minutes after. And Salome, if you can come on with the music, because Chris had to drop off. He had to go to another event. But let's give it to 10 minutes after. So we got 8 minutes. And leaders, let's go ahead and reach out to your team members. Make sure they're on here for this training. Mr. Ray Patterson is going to share first. My mentor when it comes to financial issues. And then I'll come on and talk about the number one skill set we all need if we're going to make the most money in this space. So go ahead and reach out to your team member. Let's go ahead and double this number. And we'll see you guys back at 10 minutes after the top of the hour.
There's an African proverb that states every morning a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. And every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up and knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle or it will starve. It doesn't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you'd better be running. Because stagnation is death. Because wishing happens when you are asleep. Because immobility is regret. There are only ever two options. You are getting better or getting worse. In a world of trophies for trying and fake images of success, it puts the weight on your shoulders to find what true success is. But it has nothing to do with yesterday or the self-defeating stories you used to tell yourself. It's about what reality can become. Every single sunrise is a chance to chase down that which sets your soul on fire. Lion or gazelle, day or night, it is never too late to become what you have never been, to rewrite your story. It's not nuance, it's survival. Today is a currency, the most valuable entity you possess. The clay where dreams are molded, the light that turns unknowns into outcomes and impossibles into stepping stones. When the sun comes up, there is no wishing for a better world. There is creating in yourself the one who will make it better, the one who chooses his fate, the one who chooses to run.
when your why is failing, when hope is slim, when your muscles give out, when the love around you is hard to find, and nothing seems to be going right. What will keep you going? Toward the light. Toward the struggle. Toward life itself. Sheer, raw, backbreaking, unimaginable grit. Put your head down and make the promise to yourself and to everyone who matters to you. If nothing else survives this, if nothing else flourishes, I will. Through grit, through the unending, unbending, deeply ingrained need to just keep going. One more day. One more minute. One more breath. Grit.
Legacy. What is it? Is it Tom Brady with his 7 Super Bowl rings? Tiger with his undeniable greatness on the course? Ali with his knockout of Frazier? Steve Jobs with his vision and relentless tenacity? Sure. We came to fight! But is legacy only reserved for greats in sports, celebrities, or icons in business? No. Legacies are an undeniable constant that every human breathing a breath has no choice but to leave. Big or small, good or bad, each one of us will leave a legacy. The problem is that they aren't built in a day, and you can't cheat it if you want a good one. Legacies are built with time, work, character, meaning, and discipline, all things that can't be erased easily. They don't fade quickly or sour easily. They are the memory of love, hope, and courage for the next in line to walk the path. They can be physical things or lots of indelible lessons taught and learned over time. The good ones are probably both. The best legacies are deliberate works of art that have an impact on the ones who matter most to the person with the brush. We will all be remembered for something, and destiny gives us the option to choose. See, the goal isn't to live forever, it's to create something that will. So pick up the brush and start painting. Start living the legacy you ultimately want to leave.
We, the people of 7K, believe in the stability of sound money, in becoming financially independent, in creating wealth through the power of collectibles, in our futures because we control them. We believe in building legacies that last, in leaving something for those who follow, in learning from our history, in honoring heroes, in remembering the tragedy and hoping for a better tomorrow, in telling and retelling stories so that they're never forgotten. We believe in joining together like-minded people with their sights set high in the power of humanity, united and free, and supporting each other, whatever it takes, in spreading knowledge, truth, positivity, and love, in treasuring our families and communities, in treating all others fairly and respectfully, in giving people hope and inspiration. We believe in becoming the best version of ourselves, in becoming our own bosses, in setting goals that make us reach farther and overcome more, in speaking and acting out of selflessness, in freedom, and in just a little bit of luck. We believe in taking responsibility for our own lives, thoughts, actions, and paths. We believe in facing challenges head on, seizing them until they begin to change into something that can be overcome. As your challenges become malleable, so will you. And you can begin to shape yourself to your will, molding yourself into the person you've always imagined you'd see in the mirror. The person you've started to become. The person you're striving every day to be. We believe in you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put a 2 in the chat if you're ready for some training. Put a 2 in the chat if you're ready to get some training. It's going to help you take your business to a whole nother level. All right, well, we're going to talk about this first speaker that you're going to hear from today is someone I have the utmost respect for. Most of you don't know that I met Mr. Ray Patterson. Actually, I signed up Mr. Ray Patterson in my first gold and silver company, but we didn't meet until 7K medals, okay? In my first gold and silver company, he was in a competing company. And that company ended up being bought out by another company that was a travel company. And he, like most of the people that are there, they didn't sign up to do travel. So he actually contacted the owner of my first gold and silver company and said he was looking for a sponsor. And he gave him a list of 3 individuals. And so Ray interviewed, I mean, he's such a thorough guy. So he interviewed the 3 people that the guy, that the owner of the company gave him. And he chose me to be a sponsor. So that's how we originally met. And we helped him have success in that company before, unfortunately, it went out of business. And so Ray joined another gold and silver company when that company went out of business, but we stayed in touch. And then when 7K came calling, and I went up there to meet with the co-founders of this company in November 2016, he was one of the ones I invited to go up there and go with me, but he was entrenched in his other company, so I respected that. So we just stayed in touch, you know, so every 3 to 6 months, I would call him to see how he was doing. He would call me to see, you know, how I was doing. And then about 2 years in, about a year and a half in, I went out there to Greensboro, North Carolina to do a meeting for the first guy signed up in 7K, which was a pastor. And Ray drove up a couple of hours just to meet me and for the first time. And everything just clicked from there. The next week he signed up, and it's just been a godsend ever since. And this is one of my mentors. I mean, I've been blessed. Of over the 400 people I've sponsored in 7K, 11 of them were already multimillionaires, and Ray is one of those. And so he's my mentor when it comes to financial things. So help me welcome to the Zoom to share with you some financial stuff that everybody needs to pay close attention to, and hopefully in the position to take some copious notes. My friend, Mr. Ray Patterson, take it away, my friend.
Tony, can you hear me okay, brother?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and good morning if you're in Hawaii or on the left coast. Folks, glad to be on here. I try to get on here as much as I can to help everybody. Tony and I have been working very hard, very diligently in the background to formulate what you're going to be hearing a lot more about here in the next few weeks. We have developed a new corporation called Legacy Builders Global. And so everything you're seeing on here right now, all of these are people, all of the leaders that come on here, Chris, his brother Joe, Scott Zuckman, who's going to be speaking out at Sally Mary's convention next Saturday, and I will be there not in person, but I will be there via Zoom. And I'll be talking about the value proposition of 7K metals and why that is so important for everybody to know. Now, that being said, because I've only got just a few minutes here, I was very glad to hear my friend David Crasper come on here just a few minutes ago. I think the world of him for many reasons. He's done an excellent job at going from ground zero to where he's at today. And I feel very confident that very soon he's going to be hitting the same rank that Tony and many others are. So we're very happy about that. And then I heard from Kevin Williams as well. I'm always touched when I hear from people like Kevin and David, and Tony had on Joe. Tony, what's Joe's last name? Joe Putman.
Joe Preston,
Preston,
the young 86 over that cash and checks.
Yes. And she's done very well. And it's like she said the other night, Tony, I got so tickled at her. How old is she again? 80.
Young age of 86.
86. I got so tickled at her the other night when she said, well, I'm 86, and if I can do this, anybody can. I laughed my, what off, because she's absolutely right. From 18 to 86, we have got something for everyone. The thing I love about 7K Metals, it allows, their business model allows anybody across this still great country of ours to put them in a position to be buying, whether it's this stuff or the numismatics. This is the defense. This is the offense. Now, one of the things that I specialize in is this stuff, the defense. And I had the pleasure for the last period of a few years to get to know Miles Standish very well. I already missed those calls we used to have a couple of times a month, but he taught me a lot about the offense. So over the next period of time, I want to be sharing some of that information that he was so kind to share with me regarding the offense. So, okay, real quick. One of the things that Legacy Builders is going to be bringing to you, if you choose, because everything's about making choices. One of the things that we're going to be bringing to you, you heard Chris talk about the buyer certification. Okay. I'm a chartered financial analyst, level 3. That's the highest you can get. I have been a registered investment advisor. That's a couple of steps over a certified financial planner. I've been one of those two. As you can see, I'm getting old. I'm 66 now. So I've learned a lot. I've taken this stuff, this right here that Tony's we're always laughing that what's between these two ears. This is my blessing and my curse, if you will. But it has served me well. And again, like Joe said the other night, if I can do this, you guys can do this. But you've got to pay attention. You've got to understand today, with all of the financial chaos and the uncertainty and the fragility of the banking institutions, there is this massive train that is barreling down the tracks. It is coming right for each one of us. You've got to know, well, first you got to know when to step off of the track, obviously. But if you understand the power of what is behind that locomotive, you can prosper. You're not only going to be able to beat the new financial reset when it hits, you're going to be able to prosper. You're going to be able to get way ahead of all of these other people out here that aren't paying attention because they are going to be the ones that financially are going to be decimated. You've heard me come on here, especially the last few months. You've heard me talk about Fed now. I won't, no use in getting into that right now. But the buyer certification from 7K, and I'm a skeptic. You have to be in my business. I'm very skeptical about anything. And I'm constantly saying to people, they'll say something and I'm like, well, predicated on what? Because they're picking up news from sound bites. They don't take the time to do the research. I do a lot of research, and as great as the buyer certification is, and by the way, if you were to try to go out and get in front of people like me to teach you what's in the buyer certification, you would have to end up paying those people based on market prices, somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $1,800. Okay, so you're going to get all of that for a minimum of $199 a year. And that works out to be $16.58 a month. So your bank account is probably costing you about $35 a month at the minimum. That's getting ready to go up. And then there are things within the banking system. If you aren't familiar with what the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation is getting ready to do to your account, you've probably heard of a bailout, but you probably aren't familiar with a bail-in. And whether you hear it from me on this show, whether you hear it from my podcast on Thursday nights, which by the way is called 9atnight.com. You can get more about that on my website, oceandrivecapital.net. But there's some stuff on my website. Part of what I'm doing, and Tony, in conjunction with Legacy Builders, we're going to basically amp up the buyer certification. The information you're going to see on the new Legacy Builders website, which will be coming out here shortly. We are going to put some things on steroids. What I'm going to be bringing to Legacy Builders is going to be buyer certification on steroids, quite frankly. So if it doesn't matter your education level, but it does matter about your comprehension, and your comprehension goes back to your mindset. And let's face it, Tony Hubbard, by far, he has done more to teach me how to get the proper mindset. Tony has introduced me to numerous authors and people out there like Jim Maxwell and people like that, for example. I've been a fan of Robert Kiyosaki ever since he came out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 1997. Scott Zuckman, who you've heard us talk about on here. Scott Zuckman actually worked with Robert Kiyosaki for a while. Robert is part of what we internally back here call our roundtable group. We've got a lot of heavyweights that are part of that. I've been blessed, very humbled that I got asked to be part of that group here 7-8 years ago. So I'm constantly researching. I'm constantly looking at what is coming towards me. How can I profit? How can I benefit? It's not that hard to do, but if this is not properly trained to recognize what's coming in front of us, you're going to get creamed. You're going to get run over. We don't want to see that happen to anybody that comes onto this program. So that's pretty much it for right now. But I think you're going to be incredibly pleased with the information, the educational aspects, and the knowledge that you're going to be receiving if you choose to now, because everything's about choices. We got some things coming at you folks that are going to really, really help you. So that's it for now. Now, next week, like I said, Sally is going to be doing our wonderful Sally. She's going to be doing her thing next Saturday. Tony's going, Scott's going, I'll be there by Zoom. And then the third week of September, I believe it's the 22nd, 23rd, 24th in Charlotte. We're going to be having another one of these in Charlotte. Tony's going to be there. Chris Lattin's going to be there. Daryl Steele's going to be there. I don't know if Scott's coming yet or not. We had a fantastic show here just recently in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was unbelievable. I was very proud. I was very humbled to be part of that group that day, that weekend. And if you stay plugged in, if you stay engaged, you're not only going to benefit and profit from all of this, simultaneously, as you get out there and share the 7K business model, you're going to help a lot of people. And if you haven't figured this out by now, the more you help others, the more it's going to come back to you. Trust me on this. I know that for a fact. Most of my clients, and I mean most of them within Ocean Drive Capital Partners, most of my clients at the very minimum have a 7K membership. Okay. So you have to ask yourself, well, why is that? Again, it goes back to what I said a couple of minutes ago. With a 7K membership, you can buy, like Chris was alluding to earlier, you can buy fractional gold and silver, and they take that down to 8 decimal places, by the way. Okay, sort of like what they do over in the crypto space, because not everybody can afford to go out and buy a tube of this. Okay, that's a tube of Liberty Silver Eagles. So that's pushing $800 something right now for just a tube of this. So, you know, I also teach people about pre-33 silver. And there's a lot of benefits to that. You can learn, you're going to be able to learn about those benefits by being a part of the Legacy Builders. So simply put, the more you have, folks, the more time you need to put into it to manage what you have, and then to leverage what you have to further your prosperity. So I'm going to leave you with that for now. We're going to have some great training coming up here. Please stick around. And if you ever need to reach out to me, you can always go to my website, oceandrivecapital.net, go into contact me, send me the question, fill out the requisite information, send me the question. We will get back to you, me or somebody on my staff, and we're here to help. That's what we're here for. And so thank you, everyone. Have a great, safe rest of your weekend. Tony, thank you so much. Back to you, brother.
All right, man. As always, Ray, it's such a pleasure, man, to get a chance to hear from you, from somebody that's made millions as an entrepreneur and now is doing it now on an annual basis. That's a beautiful thing. But one of the things I love about him is that he always makes time for each and every one of his clients, and he takes the time to work with each and every one of his clients as if they were the only client that he had, and that's something that's rare in the financial space. So definitely hats off to you, my brother, and I look forward to working with you for many, many years to come, man. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully each and every one of you in a position where you can take some copious notes, because what we're going to talk about today is the one skill set that makes you the most money. I don't care what network marketing company you're in. Now, Eric Warray wrote the book, the #1 best-selling book of all time in network marketing, called Go Pro. And in that book, he talks about 7 skill sets, not 70, not 700, but 7 skill sets that if you just get good at them, you'll make full-time income on a part-time basis. But if you start mastering a couple of them, now you're looking at 6 figures, 7-figure, and even 8-figure a year income. But I want to make sure some of you have taken notes and are paying attention to what we've taught on this subject before, and we'll continually teach on this subject. But of the 7 skill sets that he talked about, which one of those skill sets that Eric Warray said was the closest thing to a silver bullet that makes you the most money in any network marketing company. So for those of you that want to take a guess at it, put in the chat, what do you believe from presenting to getting a new person started, right? Inviting, which one of those 7 skill sets do you believe that makes you the most money in any network marketing company? Okay, Jason Shirley said getting people to a meeting, okay. And anybody else? I'm gonna read off some of the ones that have been already put out there. Okay, Joe Preston said events. Kevin Williams said inviting. Okay, who else? Events is first, right? Joe. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, and here's the right answer. Here's the skill set that Eric Warren says the closest thing to a silver bullet. And this is the thing that made him the most money. And it is promoting, not getting the people, but promoting for events. Okay, promoting for events. That's a skill set that you and I can both learn. The beautiful thing about network marketing, if you don't come in with a certain skill set, it can be learned. I want you guys to understand that. If you don't come in with the skill set, so whatever you need to be successful in network marketing, if you don't come in with it, it can be learned. That's the thing I love about it. That's why everyday people that were, their background, they were bus boys, they were dishwashers. Some of the people were homeless before they start living the lifestyle that most people dream about. But I want you guys to write this down. Promoting for events is the #1 skill set that makes you the most money in network marketing. It creates the most momentum, okay? And Eric Warren said that the reason why, he made 15 million in his 25-year career, he said when it came to promoting for events, he said he was a beast in that arena. He said, I could put the butts in the seats. That's why it made him the most money, because he mastered that particular skill set, and he's still mastering that skill set. Now, the reason why it's so important, because we got many events that are taking place, but I want you to write this down. The thing that makes you and I the most money is momentum, and that's what promoting for events gets you in your business. It's momentum. But I want you to write this down, ladies and gentlemen. Momentum is created through belief. I want you to write that down. If you don't get anything else I'm talking about here today, I want you to get that. I want that to be embedded in your DNA. Momentum is created through belief. Okay? Momentum is created through belief. Okay? And there's no better belief builder than getting your people to the event. There's no better belief builder than getting your people to the event. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Put a 2 in the chat. If you like sports, put a 2 in the chat. If you've watched it from television and you've had the pleasure of actually going to a live event, put a 2 in the chat. For those of you that love sports like myself, you've watched it from television, but you've had the pleasure from time to time to go to the live event. Okay, all right, so several of you guys have done that. Put a 10 in the chat if going to the live event was 10 times better than watching it on television. Put a 10 in the chat if going to that live event was 10 times better than watching it on television. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about promoting for events, ladies and gentlemen. If you have no idea, and we heard a testimony, and I'm gonna make reference to it today, of what happened when one of the leaders that was just buying gold and silver, but he went to an event and what happened to his business. Okay. All right. So let me give you 6 things that can help you in promoting for an event. And then we're gonna do a contest at the very end. And there's gonna be a prize for those of you that get the most people on your team to register for that event that's coming up. Okay, because we're talking about the next major event. It's going to take place a week from today, where myself, Mr. Scott Zuckman, will be there in person in Seattle, Washington, at the DoubleTree Hotel by the airport, along with our incredible host, Miss Sally Mary. We'll have my man, Mr. Ray Patterson, that's going to come in via Zoom. And we're going to have our VP of Marketing and Sales, Mr. Blake Davis, that will also be there. So you want to make sure you have people come out to meet him as well. But let me give you 6 things. And this is something I learned from one of my $1 Million mentors that's going to help you, if you put them into practice, will help you be better at promoting for events. Okay. The reason why you want to get good at it, because Momentum is created through belief, and there's no better belief builder in our industry than getting yourself and the people on your team to an event. Okay, the bigger the event, the better. Okay, there's weekly meetings that creates a certain amount of events. What creates a better belief is the regional meetings that's going to take place next Saturday, because we're going to be in the Northwest area of the country. That's a regional event. And then, of course, our international creates the most belief. We just had one in New Orleans. We're going to be back in Vegas on next year. Okay, so each one of those create belief. The bigger the event, the more belief that's created. Because the bigger event, what happens for that new person, what happens for you, and what happens for everybody on your team that goes there is that their belief goes to another level. Because when I sit down with somebody at the kitchen table and talk about how great 7K Metals is, then when they come to our local meeting, then they say, you know what, this is better than what I saw at my kitchen table. This is bigger than what I saw at my kitchen table. And then when they go to a regional event, you know what, this is bigger than what I saw just in Houston. This is bigger than what I saw in Atlanta. Okay. And when they go to an international event, you know what, this is bigger than the United States. This is bigger than the UK. This is bigger than Australia. This is bigger than the, Singapore. This is bigger than that. So the bigger the event, the greater that person's belief becomes, and belief creates momentum in your business. Okay. So how do I go out? Okay. Here's the first thing you want to do. If you want to get your people to the event, the first thing you need to do is promote the speakers that's going to be at that event. Okay. Promote the speakers that's going to be at that event. One of the wealthiest people on the planet is a guy that, and a lot of people don't like him and stuff, but as far as doing what has made him the most money, he's probably, if he's not number one, he's a number two promoter in the world, and that's Don King. Okay, Don King. All right. Now here's a guy that I've heard it say because of his ability to promote events. Here's a guy that can promote an event between a grasshopper and a cockroach and fill up a stadium. I mean, that's just how his skill set was. What most people don't know is how he was able to develop those skill sets and promote. Now, he spent a good part of his life, his early life, in prison. But while he was in prison, to be productive, he read every book he could on P.T. Barnum, the guy that created Barnum and Bailey Circus. He read every book he could to the guy that was the greatest promoter at that time. And when he came out, despite the fact he didn't have the education, despite the fact that he had a prison background, I mean, at one time, his net worth was over $300 million. And he wasn't a boxer. He wasn't a heavyweight champion, but he was excellent at promoting for events, okay? He was excellent at filling out stadiums, pay-per-view, the whole 9 yards. And up until Floyd Mayweather, he was worth more than any boxer that he ever promoted. Think about that. $300 million. This guy, and he never had to take a punch in the ring, okay? That just shows you the power of promoting for an event. He read every book he could on P.T. Barnum, who was the greatest showman. And if you want to see a movie that would encourage you to continue to go after your dream, watch that movie, The Greatest Showman, okay? Because I mean, it's an incredible movie, but it shows you what happens if you continue to go after your goals and dreams. Okay, one of my favorite movies. We were encouraged to go and look at it by one of the co-founders, Zach Davis. One of the best things, I've probably seen that movie 30 different times, and I learned something from it every time, okay? All right, so the first thing you want to do, if you want to increase your skill set, get good at promoting the event of the speakers that's going to be at that event. You know, let them know. You're going to have one of the top 10 earners in the company that's going to be at that event. You're going to have a multi-millionaire, Mr. Scott Zuckman, that's going to be at that event, that spoke on the stage for the likes of Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, that sold over $100 million from the stage in 10 years for Robert Kiyosaki, okay? Let them know, hey, so if I got anybody on my team within a couple hundred miles, I'm going to say, listen, you need to go out there and meet Mr. Scott Zuckman. You need to go out there and meet Mr. Blake Davis. You need to go out there. You need to be non-negotiable and say, hey, because here's 2 skill sets I learned that make you a lot of money in the market. If you get good at these 2 things, you'll make a lot of money. And that's edification and fear of loss. Edification and fear of loss. And edification is simply talking good about somebody else. See, we live in a society that people that, especially with selfies and everything else and Facebook, we got a lot of self-promoters out there. But the people that make the most money are real good at promoting somebody else, okay? And if you get real good at edification, which is simply talking good about somebody else, you're gonna make money in this business. I work real hard. That's why I try to learn people's story, because I wanna make sure I give them proper edification every time I bring them on this platform. I want to know your story, okay? Because you know what happens for people in network marketing? It's hard to hate on people when you know their story. You love a lot of people once you know their story. And if you're going to be successful in network marketing, you don't have to be great. What you need to have is a story, okay? So if you get good at edification and then utilizing fear of loss, you're going to make a lot of money in this industry. So one of the first things you can do to get better at promoting for an event is promote the speakers that's going to be at that event. If there's top earners, if there's top millionaires like Mr. Scott Zuckerman, that's going to be there, it's going to share with you some things, and that you'll only be able to get it if you attend that event. I mean, you need to be there. So I'm calling everybody on my team within a few hundred miles. Hey, listen, I'm flying from Houston to Seattle, halfway across the country, and I would love to see you at that event. I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I want to spend some time with you. I want to share with you some things that's allowed me to have success. So again, my goal is to make sure that we have 100 people plus at that event. My goal is to make sure I personally have at least 10 guests at that event. Okay, so we're working on that right now. Okay, so the one thing that you can do that's going to help you be a better promoter is you want to get good at promote the speakers at that event. Number 2, you want to tell your own story. All right, tell your own story. So the beautiful thing about network marketing, until you have your own story, you want to get good at telling somebody else's. Now, we just heard a story. Now, that was the first day. I mean, I know Kevin Williams had an incredible story. I didn't know his story until he shared today. All right, but now we each have a reason to tell his story until we develop our own that show you the importance of getting people to an international event, but to any event. Now, think about it. Kevin had been on board for a year's time, and for the most part, he was just a customer. So one of the best things his sponsor, Madiba Thompson, did was encourage him to go to the international event out there in Vegas. Now, he went out to the international event in Vegas, and all of a sudden, in a very short period of time, he realized, you know what? This was bigger than just buying gold and silver. This is bigger than just me getting some collectible coins. But I can make some money with this. I can leverage my time with this. I can replace my income with this. And he went back and went to work, and in a very short window, he went from 0 to hero and went to bronze associate in a very short period of time, all because he went to that event. Because here's what I found to be true in network marketing. We have some amazing leaders in our team here at 7K Metals. We have some of the best, not only in 7K Metals, but in the entire industry, okay? But here's what I found to be true. None of us are as good as all of us collectively. So the important things of getting your people to that event is that they're going to get a chance to not only see and spend time with myself, they'll get a chance to see and spend time with Mr. Scott Zuckerman. They'll get a chance to spend time. They'll get a chance to hear from Sally Mary. They'll get a chance to hear from my man, Mr. Ray Patterson. And you'll be in an environment where it's better than watching on TV because you at that event. You're at the event, ladies and gentlemen. So again, tell your own story, and until you get your story, you can utilize somebody else. Now I'm going to be utilizing Kevin Williams' story because now I know his story. That's why you want to promote, because I've heard hundreds of stories of people They went from zero to hero because their sponsor encouraged them to go to the event. People are thinking about quitting, this ain't what it's all about. And they say, hey, listen, just go to the event. And then after that event, you can do whatever you want to do. I cannot tell you how many people on my team over the 19 years that after the event, at the last day of the event, say, you know what? I'm going to be the next goal on your team. I'm going to be the next executive goal in your team because they saw something at the event. Because here's what happens. They see people at that event that are younger than them, that are older than them, that don't have the skill set that they have, and they're walking the stage at the level that they want to walk that stage. Because now that belief went to a whole nother level. Think about it. People that think they're too old, then I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna tell them Joe Preston's story. I don't know. Are people, people above 60 making money? I don't know. Ask Joe Preston. Are people above 80 making money? I don't know. I have a guy on my team that's 98 years young, and he makes a check every other month. 98. But you know what? I didn't know him until I went to a local event, and I heard him tell his story. So again, the beautiful thing about network marketing, until you have your own story and you want to make sure you create it, you can utilize other people's story. So I'm going to be using Kevin Williams' story. I use Ray Patterson's story. I use Scott Zuckerman. I use Sally Mary's story. Because you don't have to be great. What you need is a story. All right? So number 2, tell your story. All about promoting for an event. Number 3, share the statistics. If I want to promote events to people on my team, and the importance of them getting there is share the statistics. Here's the most amazing statistics that I have that I tell people for those that want to make money, why you need to be at that. If it's a local event, if it's a regional event, and definitely if it's an international event, because here's the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. These are the numbers across network marketing worldwide over the last 80 plus years. The people that show up at these events, the regional events, the international events, they make 10 times what the people that don't show up at the event. Okay? I want you to write that down. The reason why you want to sacrifice and drive 200 miles, the reason why you want to sacrifice and drive across the country, because the people that make the sacrifice and show up at the event, they make 10 times more than what the people that don't show up at the event. So my question when I'm talking to people about why I need you to show up at the event, hey, all I can tell you is that the people that show up at those events, that drive 100 miles, that drive 200 miles, they make 10 times more than what the people that don't show up at the event. So do you want to make 10 times more or you want to make 10 times less? You just tell me. And I'm cool either way. I'm just telling you the facts. I'm just telling you what the numbers, and the numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? 2 of the top earners in our company, and here's what puzzled me when I got involved in my first network marketing company. I would go to our international event. My first company, they did 4 international events a year. They had at least 15 different regional events a year, and some of them were taking place at the same time. That was my first company. And so they would tell us, hey, you ain't in the business until you've been to an international event. And now that we do at least one a year, that's what I'm telling people on my team. You are not in the business until you go to an international event. Kevin Williams is now in the business. You are not in the business until you go to an international event. Okay? And what I marvel at in my first company was when I saw the people that were the top earners in our company, in that company, what I marvel at was the fact that the background they came from. I'm talking about one of the top females in my first company. Her prior background, she wasn't an engineer, she wasn't a doctor, she was a waitress at Applebee's before getting started in the company. And she had been doing that for 5 years. No college degree. And she was making $200,000 a month in that company. Okay. And I just marveled, how these people, but what I saw was this. At each one of those international events, they would show you who the top earners was, and then they would show you the people at different ranks that had the most people at that event. And you know what was the commonality? The people that were making the most money also had the most people at every event. Real simple, ladies and gentlemen. The numbers don't lie. The people that made the most money also had the most people. They weren't the most talented. Some of them were just as boring. I mean, I heard somebody say this one time, you know, that's probably the worst I'd ever heard. I mean, they were the owner of one of my first companies. I sent somebody there to go and meet with him, and he was saying that his ability to speak, he said he was drier than mummy dust. I never heard that before, and that's about as dry as you can get right there. Okay, I mean, it was drier than mummy dust, and that was some of the speakers in my first company. When they got up there on the stage, I mean, it was like you had given everybody a sleeping pill, but they was making the most money because what they did that you did not see was they were real good. They were non-negotiable at getting their people to that event. Okay, in 7K, two of the top earners every single year, Bob Reed and Curtis Hall. The reason why they're the top earners, because routinely they have 500 plus people at those events. Both of those guys have 500 plus people at every one of our international events. Okay, it ain't no secret. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get good at making sure not only do you get them to the local meetings, you get them to the regional meetings, but more than anything else, you want to get them so they can see the big picture at the international events. Okay. For those of you, if you want to really project your income, focus on, here's what the numbers are every 6 months to a year. The people that you get to an international event, you could that's on your team, multiply that number times 1,000, and it's in that range. So if I get 50 people, I'm looking at making 50,000 over the next 6 to 12 months in 7K. What if I get 100 people on my team at that event? Now that's my best chance of making 100,000 in 7K. Okay. It's important to promote for the. So share the statistics. Number 4, close the event. You need to close toward people getting to that event by, and I look for the people that are hungry. Okay, so that means you need to go ahead and register yourself. So you don't want to be hypocritical about promoting folks to get to the event and you haven't registered yourself. So you want to do that. Okay, so those of you that plan on being there in Seattle, you need to already have your ticket, because there's a lot, you can say it with a lot more conviction when you already have your ticket and you register for that event to encourage other folk to go to that event. So you want to make sure you already have your ticket. And then last but not least, okay, Ray Price, and that's a beautiful point. Emily Manuel, one of the reasons why she's one of the top earners, and she's doing this part-time. You know, her full-time is real estate. She's doing it part-time. But here was somebody that last year in Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, she had over 100 people that came from Hawaiian Islands that was in Vegas. Over 100 people. I mean, it's a lot easier to get people in the continental United States to go to Vegas, but to get 100 people to come from paradise to Vegas, I mean, that's somebody that promoted for events, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the reason why her income constantly is going up, because she understood the process of getting people to those events. All right. And then last but not least, tell them that to make the big money in their marketing, the reason why you want to go to the event, matter of fact, do me a favor, put a 2 in the chat. If I told you that I'm serious about becoming a doctor, but I don't plan on going to medical school, put a 2 in the chat if you think I was crazy or there was a few screws that were loose. I'm serious about being a doctor, but I don't plan on going to medical school. I ain't gonna go get no training. I'm just gonna go get me one of them white coats and I'm gonna call it a day. You would think there was something mentally wrong with me if I told you I'm serious about being a doctor, but I don't plan on going to medical school. I ain't doing that. For those of you that plan on making full-time income on a part-time basis, for those of you who plan on making a six-figure income in the next couple of years, here's 7K medals. You got to recognize that if the doctor got to go to medical school, if the attorney got to go through his process, you got to go to those events. That's your continuing education. Because once you become a doctor, once you become an attorney, once you become an engineer, there's something called continuing education. And that's why you go to the weekly meetings. That's why you go to the regional meetings. And that's why, unless there's a death in the family or something major, I'm at that event. If I qualify to be at that event, I'm at that event, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Because I know that's part of my continuing education to be a professional in what it is I'm doing. Because I'm always looking to better my best. And the only way I'm going to better my best, I have to have that continuing education. That's what you get at the regional event. That's what you get at the international event. And that's what you get at your local event. They told me, for those of you that are blessed right now to have a local event, they say if you got a guest, you need to be at that meeting. And if you don't have a guest, so if you got a guest, the meeting needs you. And if you don't have a guest, you need the meeting. Okay. So now let's talk about how can we make sure that every event, because we got several of them that are coming up in the next couple of months. Okay. Ray told you about the first one is coming up is next Saturday. Okay. So do me a favor, put a 2 in the chat if you want to not only make money from the people on your team in your city and your state, but you want to make money all over the United States. Okay. Want to make sure I'm talking to the right people. You want to make money from all over the United States. You want to have a nationwide business. Okay. All right. Put a 3 in the chat if you not only want to make money in your city and your state, nationally, but you also want to make money internationally. Okay. Here's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. You make the sacrifice and you be at that event, or you go down through your team and you make sure there's not an event that takes place in 7K Metal that I don't have representation there, that I don't have guests to show up. I got people at that event right now in New Jersey because I spent time this week calling my contacts. And if you don't have the size team that we have, and you might not know somebody that's in New Jersey or Seattle, here's what I found to be true. And here's what I'm going to challenge you guys to do today. If you get real good at using the 4 most powerful words that help you in recruiting throughout your team, and that's who do you know? Think about it. If you got at least 10 people on your team, I promise you, if you don't know anybody in Seattle, between those 10 people, they know somebody that's in Seattle. So here's my assignment to those of you today. I want each of you to focus on and put a 2 in your chat if you want to commit to this, to making sure you have at least 2 people on your team in that Seattle event next Saturday. I want to see who's going to commit to that. So if you want to get some, okay, all right, well, here's how you do it. You want to go through your team and say, who do you know that lives in Seattle, that lives in Washington State, that lives within a couple 100 miles of that? And especially because if you look at your report, some of you might have people that already live in Washington State. If you look at your report, when you click on that person, view the downline of that person, it'll let you know what state they live in. Some of you may already have people on your team that live in Washington State. And they may be like Kevin was for the first year. They may just be buying the corn. Reach out to them and say, you know what, that's going to be a meeting that's going to be taking place in 30 miles away from you, 50 miles away from you. Why don't you go out there and check it out? They're going to be giving away silver. Why don't you go out there and check it out, this company that you're a part of? Because you know what could happen? The same thing that happened for Kevin Williams. Put a 2 in the chat if you wouldn't mind that happening on your team. Somebody go, I just told them, hey, why don't you go out there and take a look at it? And all of a sudden, a few weeks later, you got a new bronze on your team. Now you're making $1,000, $2,000 a month because a new bronze showed up on your team. All right. So here's my challenge for each and every one of you guys to reach out to your team, go through your Rolodex, go through your Facebook, go through your LinkedIn, and find out who do you have that's in Washington State, in Seattle. And then go throughout your team, find out who do they have. And whoever gets 2 people on their team to register at the event by Wednesday, we're going to give you one of those gold coins that's on the website for $99. So once you got 2 people that'll register by Wednesday, okay, we're going to give you one of those gold coins that's on the website. You got to have 2 people starting today that will go ahead and register for the $35 and then send the information over to me so we can verify it. And then we're going to buy you this week one of the gold coins that's on the website and ship it to you. The ones that's on there for $99, okay? So for every 2 people that you get to go ahead and register by Wednesday, we're going to do that. We're going to send you, because you got 2 people on your team to go ahead and register for that event in Seattle. We're going to send that over to you. All right. So that being said, we're going to wrap up the training today. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A. Anybody got any questions, comments, add to, takeaways? Here's the time you want to raise your hand. We'll allow you to unmute. And we'll entertain the questions, comments, add to, takeaways, whatever the case may be. Anybody? Okay, my man, this is David Crasper. The floor is yours, sir.
I have to ask this question because I just can't believe it. You're saying if I find 2 team members to register and come to that event by Wednesday, I get free gold.
That's correct.
You're kidding. It's not possible.
No.
You're serious. 2 people. All right. I want to clarify that because that is amazing. You're a great leader, Tony. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. 2 people. All right. But they got to register by Wednesday. Okay. Edith King, the Queen of Georgia.
Hi,
The
Tony.
floor is yours, young lady.
Okay, I have a question. I know some people in Seattle. I live in Georgia. I will not be able to attend the event, but I probably could invite these people to the event.
Okay.
Will they be considered my guests? And will they have the possibility of this vacation? Because that's one of the things I would promote.
That is correct, 100%.
I just want to make sure.
They'll be your guests. What you want to do is make sure you call me and text me their information. So I'll make sure that we take care of them. They sign up, they're going to be signed up under you. And then any guest is available for that vacation deal.
Okay. So, I just want to make sure I would be telling them the truth.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing from a queen. All right, anybody else? Anybody else got any questions, comments? Because we want to make this thing standing room only. We have a room that'll seat a little over 100 people. So we're looking for standing room only. And again, how many want to have your people get a chance to, because I'm going to be there. We're doing a meeting Thursday night at a restaurant. Friday, I'm going to be set up at the DoubleTree Hotel. And I'm going to be doing one-on-ones, either presentations for your guests that may not make it to Saturday, either presentations for your guests, or if you got reps in that area that want to do some one-on-one coaching, I'll be doing that every hour on hour as well. So from 10 in the morning to 5 in the evening, I'll be doing that Friday at the DoubleTree Hotel where the event's going to be at. And then that Saturday, we're going to bring it. That Saturday, we're going to bring it. You'll have myself, Mr. Scott Zuckman, Mr. Ray Patterson via Zoom, and we have Mr. Blake Davis the VP of Marketing and Sales for 7K Metals, and then comparable host is Sally Mary that's been working this thing like none other. So I have no doubt we have, okay, you need my phone number, okay? Ms. Kim Will Hunter. If you would, Sally Mary, text Ms. Kim Will Hunter my phone number. And Kim, you can call me right after this. All right, anybody else? Questions, comments, add to, takeaways before we wrap it up today.
Tony, really quickly about the vacation. We really need to make sure people are there from 1 to 4. That's the only requirement. It's a free seat. So please tell your guests to be on time because we will be starting on time.
Right, absolutely. Because like I said, from 10 to 12, we're going to be doing the that'll be training for the people that are already in the business. We're going to break from 12 to 1, and then from 1 to 4 is well, from 1 to 2 is when we're going to do the presentation, the wealth strategy for the guests. So we want to make sure that they're about at 1 o'clock. And then after that, we're going to do a quick start training, the whole 9 yards, and for building the business and show them how to go from 0 to hero in their business. Anybody else? Anybody else got any questions, comments? I don't see anything else in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, well, get back with the person on your team if they got any other questions after this. And let's make this another amazing event. I just saw pictures. I want to say they got at least 150, and they don't and they're not even doing the guests yet. There in New Jersey, that's an amazing event. I've seen pictures and they posted them online. And so let's make this one going, and just give you guys a heads up as well. A little over a month from now, myself, Mr. Chris Ladden, Daryl Steele will be, and Ray Patterson will be the host. We'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's September the 21st through the 23rd, that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That event will be like none other. And then the following Saturday, I just got confirmed on yesterday, we're going to do a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in my town of Houston, Texas. You'll be looking for that flyer in the next week or so. So that'll be in Houston the last weekend of September. And then the weekend after that, Goals and Hire will be at the Leadership Summit. And then I know we have at least one event in October that we're looking at for the Dallas area. And so we'll get back to you on the details of that part as well. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the report this morning, there are quite a few of you that are pretty close to that 250 at 500, all the way up to 12,005. So let's go ahead and stretch. And let's go ahead and make sure you help a lot of the people on your team make that extra 500 or whatever the case may be. And I'll be available for 3 ways the whole 9 yards. So everyone have a great evening. And I'll leave you guys with one of my favorite motivational quotes. And here's what he said. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but then he would have chuckled reply. Maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who just wouldn't say so until he tried. So with a lift of a chin, he buckled right in on his face. If he doubted he hit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Someone scoffed, "You'll never do that." At least no one ever has done it. He took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing you know, he begun it. With a lift of a chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitting, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are 1,000 that'll tell you it cannot be done. There are 1,000 that'll prophecy failure. There are 1,000 that'll wait for you one by one of the day that waits to assail you. But with a lift of a chin and a bit of a grin, just take off your coat and go do it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing. Team United States, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, and Singapore, every last one of you guys will do it. So everyone have a great evening. God bless. We'll see you guys over the top. And I look forward to being in a room with 100 of you guys next week in Seattle, Washington. God bless.